In the last episode, we dismantled perfectionism as a form of negotiating with reality. As a result, we'll no longer attempt to get the effect without enacting the cause. Now we're going deeper into the root of all self-negotiation, identity. You've undoubtedly come across the idea that changing your identity is more powerful than changing your habits. James Clear, the author of the mega-bestseller Atomic Habits, calls this identity-based habit change. Today, you'll know exactly why identity-based behavior change is so powerful. These are deep philosophical waters. Let's get into it. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control from Fitness to Flourishing. In our attempts to skirt reality and reach our goals, we sometimes avoid seeing some truths. One of these truths is, you don't negotiate with tasks, you negotiate with identities. When your alarm goes off for work, you don't negotiate with getting up, because the identity behind that action is already settled. You are someone who shows up. You're someone who provides. You are someone who fulfills their obligations. The action, getting up when the alarm rings, is simply the expression of the identity. A responsible employee or business owner, for example. There is no internal debate because there is no internal contradiction. But when it comes to your personal goals, training, building your business, maintaining your home, advancing your life, the identity is not yet settled. You haven't fully become the person for whom those actions are non-negotiable. And where identity is unclear, negotiation appears. This is the first identity mechanism. Negotiation is the symptom of identity ambiguity. When you say, I don't feel like doing this, you're not negotiating with the task. You're negotiating with the kind of person you believe yourself to be. Am I someone who exercises consistently? Am I someone who keeps things organized? Am I someone who builds a business? Am I someone who follows through? If the answer is not firm, you begin considering the possibilities. Maybe you're none of these things. Maybe there are better ways to live. What might that include? And what might that mean? Instead of simply doing the task, there's existential waffling that distracts. Instead of prompt and effective action, there's puttering with inconsequentials like email or seeing the latest on social media. This is why people can be rock solid in one area of life and inconsistent in another. Identity is domain specific. You don't negotiate with work because you've accepted the identity that makes work non-optional. You negotiate with your goals because you haven't accepted the identity that makes those goals non-optional. This leads to the second identity mechanism. Identity is not a feeling. It's a causal chain. Identity is not something you discover. Identity is something you choose and then prove through action. This is the reality alignment principle again. If you want to be the person who achieves the effect, you must perform the cause. You cannot claim the identity without performing the actions that express it. You cannot negotiate with reality and still expect identity to remain intact. Identity is earned. Implementing the practice is how you earn it. The practice is not a habit system. It's an identity expression system. When you schedule a task within the practice, you are not just planning your day. You are declaring, this is what my identity requires. This is who I am choosing to be. This action is the expression of that identity. This task and this identity are congruent. The practice eliminates the gap between who you say you are and what you actually do. This brings us to the third identity mechanism. Identity becomes non-negotiable when action becomes non-negotiable. This is the power of each step along the practice. We begin with the abstract, the one purpose. This sets the direction. We end with the practical, concrete reality directly at hand, the next task on our list. This is the next step we take in the direction we've chosen. Each individual task realizes the one purpose. The one purpose clarifies and refines each layer below it, down to the choice in the moment as we execute the current task. When everything simplifies down to the next task, identity becomes clear. And when identity is clear, negotiation disappears. You don't negotiate with the next task because the next task is simply the expression of who you are. This is why the preferred self is central to Stoic strength training. Your preferred self is not a pleasant daydream. When taken seriously and held as a matter of integrity, it's causal identity. It's the person you become by keeping yourself committed to performing the actions that person performs. The person you want to be is not something you contemplate. It's something you act into existence. This is the fourth mechanism. Identity is not built by introspection. It's built by execution. You don't become your preferred self by thinking about it. You become your preferred self by implementing the practice. In the same way, you don't become someone who operates with excellence by merely contemplating excellence. You do it by exercising virtuous self-control in the moment of choice. Identity is not a negotiated agreement between you and reality. It's a commitment you make to yourself. And this is where the reality alignment principle comes full circle. Negotiation is the attempt to escape the identity-action causal chain. The non-negotiable mind is the acceptance of it. Reality is indifferent to your choice of identity. It's up to you. Live as you choose. But the choice to live as one identity as opposed to another has consequences. You'll discover those consequences without fail. The laws of reality are consistent, but only 100% of the time. That sounds unpleasant, but only if you make poor choices. In the next episode, we're going to explore what it means to make your own word binding, why self-trust is the foundation of virtuous individualism, and why the internal contract is the most important contract you will ever sign. For now, keep this in mind. You don't eliminate negotiation with reality by trying harder. You eliminate negotiation by becoming someone for whom negotiation is unnecessary. That's it for today. Catch you next time.